Okay, so are you ready to dive into a car? I think a legend.
Her
The
legend.
Renault Clio V6.
Yeah.
This is not just any hot hatch.
Yeah.
This is a car that decided to break the mold, you know, threw convention out the window
Mm.
and said, hold my racing helmet.
Yeah. Outside.
We're talking about taking something that you see every day, something practical,
Yeah.
and just injecting it with pure sports car DNA.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're talking about here.
It's interesting you say that about the Clio V6 because it is a car of contradictions, isn't it?
Totally.
You know, it's a hatchback that thinks it's a supercar. It's a grocery getter that can outcorner a Porsche. And
Yeah.
from the looks of these articles you've sent through, the story of it is equally as interesting as the performance itself.
Yeah. The more I read about this car, the more I think I need to find one and
Yeah.
just, I don't know, take it for a spin or just
Yeah.
admire it from afar.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust myself in a Clio V6.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're going to unravel the mystery of the Clio V6.
Absolutely.
We're going to figure out what makes this thing special, what makes it tick,
Yep.
and why, to this day, it still gets car enthusiasts like ourselves so fired up.
It's really interesting as well, this one, because it shows how Renault, as a company, they're willing to take a risk.
Yeah.
You know, they're willing to dare to be different
Yeah.
in a world that's obsessed with, everyone being the same.
Right.
But to go back to the Clio V6, we need to rewind to the late 1990s.
Okay.
And imagine this, right? There's a Renault designer called Axel Brun,
Okay.
and he starts sketching. He's not sketching just any car.
Right.
He's sketching a Twingo,
Okay.
that little city car,
Right.
but infused with the soul of a Ferrari 308.
Hold on. A Twingo with a Ferrari engine?
Well, yeah,
I don't even know what to say. It's automotive madness.
it is, isn't it?
Did they actually build it?
No. So it remained a what if,
Yeah.
just a flight of fancy. But it planted a seed because at that point, Renault, they already dipped their toes into this world
Yeah.
with the Renault 5 Turbo. Now, this little pocket rocket, again, it had the engine in the middle of the car, driving the rear wheels,
Wait.
which in a small car was unheard of at the time.
So the idea wasn't totally new for Renault,
No.
but to think about putting that into production, I mean, that's wild.
Brave.
Yeah. What was the catalyst that took it from, like, okay, this is kind of cool, but let's just leave it on the drawing board to let's actually put this thing on the road?
So in 1998, Renault, they were celebrating their 100th anniversary at the Paris Motor Show.
Makes sense.
The perfect time to do something big, right?
Yeah.
Something to grab everyone's attention.
Yeah.
And they had it. The Clio V6 concept.
Cue the dramatic music. I can just imagine, like, all eyes on this tiny hatchback with muscles.
It was an instant sensation, this little thing.
Yeah.
Bulging wheel arches, the kind of come and get me stance. It stole the show.
Yeah.
The public went wild for it. The press loved it.
Yeah.
And Renault knew they had a hit on their hands.
Okay, but, there's a big difference between a concept car and a production car.
Huge. Yeah.
I mean, to take a front-wheel drive economy car, which is designed to be economical and get you from A to B,
Sure.
and then turn it into a mid-engine beast,
Yeah.
you'd need, like, a rocket scientist to do that.
And who better to turn to than a company known for pushing the limits?
Right.
So they drafted in Tom Walkinshaw Racing, or TWR.
Okay.
Now, these guys, they're a British motorsport and engineering firm.
Right.
They've got a history as long as your arm.
Yeah.
These are the guys behind cars like the Jaguar XJ220,
Wow.
Aston Martin DB7.
Okay.
They knew what they were doing when it came to making fast cars go faster.
So you've got this crack team of, like, wizards, right?
Yeah.
You've got this revolutionary concept.
Yep.
But even wizards need time.
Sure.
How long did they have? What was the pressure like?
18 months.
18 months.
18 months.
To take it from that to a, like, road-legal car.
From concept to reality.
Wow.
A year and a half to make basically a new car.
Wow.
They were working against the clock,
Yeah.
trying to re-engineer this thing to fit that V6 in.
Okay, so it's starting to sound like a bit of an automotive Frankenstein.
A little bit, yeah.
In the best way possible.
In the best way possible, of course.
So they've got this insane deadline.
Yep.
They've got this, like, never been done before car.
Crazy.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, for a start, they had to figure out where to put a 3-liter V6
Yeah.
in a Clio.
It's not a big car.
No. Where the back seats used to be?
They got rid of the back seats.
Oh, gone. Yeah.
Okay, now that's dedication.
That is commitment, yeah.
I mean, wow, they really went for it, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Where'd they even find a V6 that fit?
Well, they borrowed one from Renault's own Laguna.
Okay.
But this wasn't just a simple engine swap, right?
Right.
They gave this 3.0 liter a serious workover.
Okay, like what? What do they do?
New pistons, new intake, freer flowing exhaust, you name it, they changed it.
Right.
The result was 230 horsepower.
Okay.
Screaming away right behind your head.
By your head, yeah.
Which in the year 2000 was serious power.
Yeah.
Especially in a car that weighed as much as a feather.
Right, yeah. 230 horsepower.
In a little Clio.
It's like they shrunk down a sports car engine and somehow squeezed it into this tiny little city car.
Yeah.
With all that power going to the rear wheels, though,
Yeah.
what was it actually like to drive? Did it handle like a dream? Or was it one of those,
That's just sick.
interesting drives?
The Phase 1, that's what they called the first generation,
Yeah.
it quickly earned a reputation for being, well, a bit of a handful.
Okay. I like where this is going. Go on.
So imagine this. You're behind the wheel.
Yeah.
You've got this engine roaring right behind you.
Yep.
And you take a corner,
Yeah.
maybe with a little too much enthusiasm.
Oh, no. What happens?
Well, the back end of the car wants to, shall we say, overtake the front.
Okay.
With all that weight over the rear wheels.
Right.
It's got that tendency to oversteer.
So not a car for the faint of heart, then?
No, not really. Even experienced drivers found it a challenge.
I have to admit, though, there's something exciting about a car like that.
Oh, absolutely.
What that keeps you on your toes.
A bit of a challenge, yeah.
So for the second generation, did they try and tame it?
So for the second act, this came out in 2003.
Okay.
They knew they had to refine it a little bit.
Right.
Find that balance between, exciting performance and, let's just say, predictable handling.
Predictable handling. I like that.
Yeah. So the Phase 2,
Yeah.
this was evolution, not revolution.
Okay.
They didn't completely redesign it.
Okay. So what did they do? Did they at least add another seat in?
Still a two-seater, I'm afraid.
Ah, come on.
But they did a lot of work under the skin.
Like what?
A complete chassis overhaul.
Okay. Without getting too technical, what does that mean?
So the chassis is the foundation of the car, right?
Right.
It's what everything else is built on.
Yeah.
They lengthen the wheelbase, which is the
It-
distance between the front and rear wheels.
Okay.
So it's like stretching the car's legs out for a better balance.
Makes sense.
They widen the track at the front as well.
Okay.
For more stable cornering.
Okay. So it's like they took all that racing experience from TWR
Yeah,
and said, right, let's make this drivable for the average person.
exactly. Yeah.
Smart. Make it a bit more manageable.
What about the engine? Did they give that a boost?
They did another 25 horsepower out of that 3.0 V6.
Okay, so how much are we talking now?
255.
Wow. In a Clio.
It's pretty rapid.
I bet.
And it wasn't just about raw power, though.
Okay.
They improved the throttle response.
So you get a more immediate.
Yeah, more immediate, more precise.
Oh, I bet that's good.
It makes it feel a lot more eager.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, the sound. Oh, yeah. Got to be a good soundtrack.
It's even better in the Phase 2. A deeper roar.
Okay, so how does it actually feel to drive then?
You're driving down this winding road, right?
Oh, okay.
The steering, it's so sharp, so responsive.
Yeah,
You feel everything through the wheel.
right.
The suspension is firm. You know it's a sports car.
Yeah.
But it's more forgiving now.
Okay.
Lets the car flow through the corner.
Right, so they found that balance then.
Yeah.
It's still got that raw edge.
Yeah. It's a Clio V6.
But it's actually like a nice place to be now.
It's a much more rounded package.
This wasn't just an accident, was it? This is someone's doing.
Well, you'll like this.
You know,
Remember Steve Marvin?
yeah, from TWR.
Yeah, he was involved with the Phase 1 development.
Right.
Renault actually hired him to run Renault Sport.
No way.
Yeah.
So the guy who was there when it was a bit,
A bit Larry.
yeah, he's now in charge of making it better.
He was the perfect person for the job.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what worked
Thing.
and what didn't work.
That's fantastic.
He understood what made the car special
Yeah.
and how to make it even better.
By the sounds of it, he nailed it.
He did a great job on the Phase 2.
Yeah.
Turned it into a much more mature car.
But they didn't lose sight of what it was supposed to be.
No, exactly.
It's still fun. It's still exciting.
It's still got that Clio V6 DNA.
Brilliant. They've taken this crazy idea and they've managed to refine it,
Yeah, yeah.
But it still has that wild side.
It's a great way of putting it. It's like taking a wild horse and teaching it to dance.
Yeah. You've still got the power there.
Yeah.
But now it's controlled.
You've got it under control now. It's not trying to throw you off.
Exactly. Yeah. But with all this talk of, crazy horsepower and wild handling,
Sure.
how practical was it to actually live with?
Not very.
Okay.
It wasn't exactly what you'd call a practical hatchback.
Right. Okay.
No back seats, remember?
Yeah.
The engine's taking up all the space in the back.
You're not fitting the weekly shop in that.
You'd struggle, yeah. Couple of shopping bags at best.
So more of a weekend toy then.
I think so, yeah.
Something to have fun in when you want to let loose.
Exactly.
Not take the kids to school in.
Probably not. No, it's not the ideal family car.
But then maybe that's part of the appeal, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's not for everyone.
That's what makes it special.
Exactly. You've got to really want a Clio V6 to own a Clio V6.
Absolutely. It's for the enthusiast,
Yeah.
someone who enjoys the drive.
It's like owning a piece of automotive art.
Yeah.
You're not going to hang the Mona Lisa in the bathroom, are you?
No.
But you appreciate it for what it is.
Exactly. It's something to be admired.
And I think that's why they've become so collectible now, haven't they?
Yeah, they've really shot up in value recently.
Because not many were there.
Just over 3,000, I think.
It's nothing.
It's a tiny number when you think about it.
So you're more likely to see, I don't know, a UFO than you are a Clio V6 on the road these days.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a rare sight.
And I think it just shows that, they were onto something special with that car.
Definitely was a gamble for Renault,
Yeah.
but it was a gamble that paid off.
They really did create something unique there.
It's a shame we'll probably never see anything like it again.
Yeah, sadly not.
The car industry's a different place now.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot more emphasis on safety these days.
Yeah. And, fuel economy.
Emissions regulations, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, something like the Clio V6 would never get made today.
It's a shame, but I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a sensible family car as much as the next person.
Of course. Yeah.
But there's always going to be a place in my heart for cars like the Clio V6,
Absolutely. Gotta have those halo cars.
Cars that just make you smile when you see them.
Cars that are a bit different, a bit quirky.
Exactly. They remind us that, driving isn't just about getting from A to B.
It's about the experience.
Yeah, the thrill of it. So yeah, the Clio V6.
A product of a different time. But a reminder that sometimes breaking the rules is a good thing.
100%. Who needs back seats anyway?
Not when you've got that much power.
Exactly. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
I've enjoyed that.
Me too. We've gone from humble hatchbacks to Ferraris and everything in between.
I've covered a lot of ground, yeah.
We have, but you know what? I think we've done the Clio V6 justice.
I think so too.
So there you have it. The story of the Renault Clio V6.
A true icon.
A future classic. And who knows, maybe one day we'll see its like again.
I hope so.
Me too. But until then, we can only dream.
And maybe keep an eye on the classifieds.
Always.
Mm.
Right, well, that's all we've got time for on this deep dive. As always, a huge thanks to you for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
And of course to you, the listener, for coming along for the ride.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, never be afraid to be different.
Here.